you know, my young assistant coaches, I remind myself all the time, don't try to go into a meeting covering 15 things. Don't try to go into a practice trying to cover 15 things, okay? We didn't go to the Catamount Classic to go there to win the whole thing. We went there to see where we are at this stage based on what we've taught so far. Okay, we have a progression of teaching that's really fundamentally based, so sometimes it's slow. You're not ready to compete in October. But what I was disappointed with is some of the things that we didn't do well, that we have spent a lot of time on. Okay, things like our initial approach to the ball as you address a ball carrier defensively, how you trail a ball carrier to non-threatening areas of the field. Okay, I thought offensively we were really unfundamental. I won't name any names, but we got some guys in our team that had a lot of success for us last year, doing it a fundamental way. And now all of a sudden I feel as though some of them are starting to play with maybe higher expectations, maybe they're putting pressure on themselves. First, we talked about different spots on the field. We have a name for everything, and I would encourage you guys to put terms to as many players and positions and concepts as you can. It just makes it easier to teach, okay, and really makes your communication really simple. For example, in our breakout patterns, okay, we're going to ask our middies to break out. All right, meaning our goalie just made a save. Okay, we ask our middies to break out over the shoulder to the sideline. We ask them to banana out, and then we have a floater here. Okay, we have a floater. All right, you saw in that first clip, as we break out, if we get out what we call a quick strike, and we pass it to our midfielders right away. Okay, now we want to run and be aggressive.
Stick is the ultimate. It's the ultimate tool that you guys can differentiate yourself with. And that's as a player and that's as a coach. The more time you put in, the more results you get. And I'm not going to give you this big wall ball speech, all right? But it's the truth. It's the great equalizer. I'm a small guy, but I had great hands. But I didn't develop those hands until I got to college. I was a good athlete, and then eventually they came because of work. All right? But I started to learn the nuances of why guys had such good sticks. Why I'd sit here and practice, and we'd play, actually shoot around play against the Colorado Mammoth. And John Grant Jr. to this day is the best lacrosse player I've ever seen. I've played with all the Powells. I've played with the Gates. He was literally sitting here. If that chair was an indoor net, he was playing catch with the crossbar. Literally having a catch with it. And he hit it 10 times in a row. And I was like, hit it an 11th time. He hit it. Pointing our butt end at our location, real soft hands, and we continue to explode through. You're setting yourself up for failure if you're in tight. But now the other problem is what's the happy medium of that? How many times do you see a guy running around like this? How many times do you see a 7th grader go, get your hands back, like running like 3-4 cradles like this? There's no possible way that's comfortable. There's no way that guy's going to be a compact athlete.
Well, you understand our offensive tenets, and these first three to me are all pretty much the exact same thing. It's you got to be a threat to score. I jump in and cut off Coach Gabbs earlier when we're watching that film, talking about that 2-slide coming across, because I can't stand to watch a guy stand up at the top of the box with a stick, at his hip, or a guy standing there at the top of the box like he's getting ready to shoot, because no one has to guard that guy. And now we're playing defense, right? We're playing offense 5-on-7 really. Teach now is I'm sitting at 5-and-5. All right, I want to do my rocker step, so I'm going to fake the inside roll, and then come right back up top and get on top. We have a good clip of that in a second. The next one is that inside roll, where this time I'm going to fake the rocker step. I'm going to come up into him, get upfield, and then I'm going to open up, seal him, and get in front of the cage. So that's our second progression. And then the third one is what we call the shimmy. The guys make fun of me all the time. I don't know why. But I'm out here and I'll just start rocking a little bit and try to get that guy to jump to one side or the other. Sometimes he jumps high, sometimes he jumps low. But whatever way it goes, I'm obviously going to go the other way. And lastly, if none of that works, so you sit there, you're sitting at 5-and-5, I tried my rocker, they're on me, I guarantee you at that point, you've brought people at least one step, maybe 2 steps closer to that side of the field. So even if you don't draw a slide, even if you don't get by that guy, we'll throw our hands to the sideline, we move the ball, and we brought people over. Now we want to make 2 passes and dodge again because the slide's probably out of place.
I'm going to make that easy for me. I get to talk about the ugly duckling that nobody likes to think about, the goalies, and a little bit of team defense as well. So really fortunate to be able to work with you guys a little bit. If you guys have any questions throughout the process, please let me know. It is a unique thing. The 2 points I always talk about when I talk about goalie presentations, the first thing I always tackle. Is there any goalie coaches or anybody with goalie experience in the room here? You got 1, 2? That's pretty consistent, right? 2 out of 20? That makes sense. The percentages don't lie. 1 out of 10 guys on the field play goalie at any given time. For us, it's 4 guys on a 48-man roster. That's a pretty small dosage of guys that play goalie. How many of those guys go into coaching? Very rarely, a lot of them. So there's not a lot of guys out there, or girls out there as well, that have goalie experience. So you have a lot of people out there, a lot of coaches, a lot of dads, a lot of shooters that are just a little bit bored, and that's the guy that's working with your goalie. And that's not a good thing. The most important slide of the entire presentation. That 15 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 5 minutes, whatever it may be that your window allows, is the most important part of the goalie's practice. The rest of the day, he's not going to do anything fundamentally or technically sound. You'll never see a goalie make a real technically sound save in 3v2s. It's just not realistic. In 1v1s, it's even worse. Those guys are just anticipating that guy running by him and taking a shot from 7 yards. That's what happens at every one-on-one drill there is. So you have to really make sure that either you are policing them or your goalies are policing themselves in their warm-up. We talk about a lot of different ways to vary that. One of the first things is variety. You practice what? How many of you guys practice 2 or 3 times in the fall? Right now we practice 4 or 5 times. In the spring, 6 times. The warm-up should never be the same. We see guys go in there and warm-ups and they go stick side high, then off stick high, then stick side hip. And they're just waiting to get the job done. They're really just waiting to get that 10 minutes over. We call it a low rung and a high rung. So that midi that was just right over here, we're going to ask to work his way all the way over to the opposite box side. So it kind of looks like a ladder, right? Defenseman, low rung, high rung. I'll actually clear it up for you so you guys can see the second phase of it.
Different levels here, at the clinic. First of all, I want to thank you so much for being here. We were talking about earlier this week, before we decided to send out another notice for RSVP. I said to Taylor, maybe we should send out a notice for RSVP. We don't even know how many people are coming. There might be 2 people here. To have, I think it's about 26 people I counted for the first time we're doing this event. Awesome. I'm really, really psyched. It's a chance for us to give back to the game, help grow the game. I'm a kind of a New England guy. I went to UMass. Coach Holm is from Longmeadow, Mass, as well. This is our home now. This is our home now. So we want to help grow the game and teach the game. And certainly there's definitely a self-help kind of going on here. If you have good players, send them our way. Send them our way, please. We have great facilities, we have great school, we have all those things. We're going to give you a chance to check that out right now. Please check out our locker room, and we're going to bring you downstairs to our weight room. Coach Galloway wants to show you a couple things. If you're a goalie guy, there's a couple things that we do in our weight room to help the fitness level and just foot speed and balance and agility of our goalies. That might be something you want to check out. But we're going to go down there right now. But we will do this again, at least once a year, if not more, with a great event for the first time. We might even consider doing this monthly. This is something that we did at Duke while I was there, and we did it monthly, and we had similar turnouts. So, just kind of, Coach Danowski taught me that, and just trying to kind of do the same.